The Zanzibari people were brought to Natal by the British as a source of labour during the time of slavery from 1873 on the HMS Briton from Zanzibar. They ended up in an area in the Durban CBD, known then as the Magazine Barracks. In line with documenting of Indian indentured labourers, they were also registered here. The minority group would eventually settle on the bluff south of the city in a place called King's Rest. 72-year-old Wali Sheikh Anwaruddin is a fourth-generation South African. He remembers the tales told by his father and how after the abolishment of slavery, many were not fortunate to return home.
Unfortunately, they didn't release them back to the countries of origin. They took them to Zanzibar, and others were taken to Madagascar, you see. And then from there, whenever there was a need for people in their colonies that they had colonized, they would send people to those colonies from Zanzibar. Zanzibar was a holding place. So in that fashion, the community was brought from Zanzibar to these shores, but they were brought in batches.
The Zanzibaris' history in South Africa is not well documented. They were recognized as indentured, like the Indian men and women who had come before them from the subcontinent. Anwaruddin says there are a number of factors that contributed to their history being undocumented. As a small minority group, families were torn apart, many died, and many children were ripped away from their families at a young age.
The British were not selective in terms of age group. They even brought children. If a child was playing out there, they'd just grab the child, load in a ship, and bring across. And some kids, out of fear and frustration, also ran away. You know, whilst they were in detention at that time, I can call it detention, when they were placed at the barracks.
The native language Makua, whose origins can be found in northern Mozambique, is spoken amongst the Zanzibaris. But many have lost the dialect as a result of apartheid's Group Areas Act in the 1960s, when the minority group was forcefully relocated to areas like Chatsworth, Wentworth and Umlazi.
Makua is a language. It's not like an ethnic people. No, it's just a language. Now, based on that, therefore, some people will prefer that, hey, me, I'm a Makua. What happens when you leave your community and go out, not even into the world, in the country itself? Within a short space of time, you won't even remember a word of your language. And in most cases, you'll even leave your religion, because what is necessary at that time is your survival.
Experts believe that the community often grappled with their identity because of how and where they landed up, and among whom.
They were labeled as other Asiatics, and then they were also labeled as natives. In the I think it's on 1935, they were moved from the protector of Indian immigrants into the native administration, the native administration office. That means that now others belong into Africans. Others went with the Indian. That's why you see them. That some went to Wentworth with the colours, because they also are classified as colours. And also, while we are into that, we should remember that there were other names that these people they were labelled, like the Zulus, they call them Amazizimbani.
Married with one son, some of Anwaruddin's oldest and fondest memories date back to his time as a young boy at King's Rest. A major portion of this land was returned to the community by the Regional Land Claims Commission in 2002. There they built a small mosque and practiced way of life rooted in the religious culture of the Spice Islands.
I would be disappointed, because as you speak, from the time this negotiation started in 1989, right up to 94, there were negotiations before democracy came in, and lots of elderly people who had high hopes of returning home, ended up returning in the body bags and being buried there. They were housed dead rather than housed alive.
For the older generation like Anwaruddin, the Zanzibari lineage is an umbilical cord to their identities. He hopes that in many years to come, the stories of how the Zanzibaris came to exist in South Africa will still be told. Jade Lee Paulser, SABC News, Durban.